Our planet began as part of a cloud of dust and gas. It has evolved into our home, which has an abundance of rocky landscapes, an atmosphere that supports life, and oceans filled with mysteries. For perhaps 500 million years, the interior of Earth stayed solid and relatively cool. The main ingredients, according to the best available evidence, were iron and silicates, with small amounts of other elements, some of them radioactive. As millions of years passed, energy released by radioactive decay, mostly of uranium, thorium, and potassium, gradually heated Earth, melting some of its constituents. The iron melted before the silicates and, being heavier, sank toward the center. This forced up the silicates that it found there. After many years, the iron reached the center and began to accumulate. No eyes were around at that time to view the turmoil that must have taken place on the face of Earth, gigantic heaves and bubblings on the surface, exploding volcanoes, and flowing lava covering everything in sight. Finally, the iron in the center accumulated as the core. Around it, a thin but fairly stable crust of solid rock formed as Earth cooled. Depressions in the crust were natural basins in which water, rising from the interior of the planet through volcanoes and fissures, collected to form the oceans. Slowly, Earth acquired its present appearance. The planet Earth is a beautiful place to live in. Life has flourished on the planet, thanks to the bountiful sun and vast oceans of water. No matter where we go on the planet, there are stunning plants, flowers, and animals that catch our attention. They are two very important aspects of any ecosystem. Of all the living organisms on the planet, the most commonly seen by us are the plant life and the animal life. Apart from these two, more forms of life abound in the Earth, but are harder to see with the naked eye. This is why the flora and fauna and wildlife of the Earth are fascinating to observe and study. Flora and fauna are words originating from Latin. Flora in Latin means the goddess of the flower. Flora is also derived from the word floral, which means relating to flowers. Therefore, flora is a group of indigenous plants in an ecosystem of a geographical region. The origin of the word fauna is a bit shrouded in mystery. According to Roman mythology, fauna refers to the goddess of fertility. Fauna is sometimes referred to as fauns, meaning forest spirits. By definition, fauna is a group of indigenous animals of any geographical region. So, the term flora and fauna was coined by biologists to refer to a collection of plant and animal specifies in a given geographic location. Flora is the name given to the collective plant life that grows or once grew in a certain area or during a given time period. It usually refers to the native plant life present, but does include new species that have been introduced as well. The flora and fauna of the Earth have names derived from Latin. In the language, Flora was a goddess of flowers and plants. In Roman mythology, she was the goddess of fertility. And so, the plant kingdom came to be known as Flora. The study of the plant life around the world is very interesting since it makes different classifications of the flora. Fauna is the name given to collective animal life that lives or was once found in a certain area or time period. In Latin, fauna is derived from 3 different sources. Fauna by itself was the name of a Roman goddess representing fertility and the earth, and Faunus was another Roman god. And then there were fauns, which were known to be forest spirits. Without flora and fauna, humans cannot exist. The flora generates and releases oxygen, which is needed by the fauna for respiratory purposes. In return, the fauna produces and releases carbon dioxide, which is needed by the flora for photosynthesis. It's a symbiotic kind of relationship. In the same line, humans cannot get by without both flora and fauna. The oxygen that we breathe in comes from the flora, and the carbon dioxide we exhale is vital for the flora. Both the flora and fauna of the Earth have been given subdivisions. Fauna is also distinguished in many different ways. However, these ways are much more complex than floral divisions because animal life has evolved into many different forms. There are hundreds of thousands of flora and fauna species across the globe. Flora and fauna bring out the true beauty of planet Earth and enables humans to experience two separate worlds in one. The fact flora and fauna contribute to a well-balanced ecosystem makes it natural that we take steps to preserve them to enjoy their benefits to the end of time. Our planet is unique for many reasons, but its available water and oxygen are two defining features. Water covers roughly 71% of Earth's surface, with most of that water located in our planet's oceans. About a fifth of Earth's atmosphere consists of oxygen, produced by plants. Earth is the only planet in the universe known to possess life. The planet boasts several million described species, living in habitats ranging from the bottom of the deepest ocean to a few miles up into the atmosphere. Researchers think far more species remain that have yet to be described to science. Researchers suspect that other candidates for hosting life in our solar system, such as Saturn's moon Titan or Jupiter's moon Europa, could house primitive living creatures. Scientists have yet to precisely nail down exactly how our primitive ancestors first showed up on Earth, although most believe that a chemical soup on the planet gave rise to the building blocks of living organisms. The precise set of circumstances necessary to create life from a lifeless planet are pretty unlikely. Another theory suggests that life first evolved on the nearby planet Mars, which could once have been habitable, then traveled to Earth on meteorites hurled from the red planet by impacts from other space rocks. Biochemist Stephen Benner, of the Westheimer Institute for Science and Technology in Florida, stated that, "It's lucky that we ended up here, nevertheless, as certainly Earth has been the better of the two planets for sustaining life." If our hypothetical Martian ancestors had remained on Mars, there might not have been a story to tell.